know enough yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess two of them had 2 hours away. We had the 90 minutes away. But everybody else just said this is never going to work. Especially the teams like that had nowhere to park anyway.
That's like where I live, right near the high school. They have to cut that back to the curb because all the staff parks around there.
So it just doesn't even work.
Yeah.
It's still going to get us till the end of the week just to get back to
Just cut back.
Yeah, Billy did such a good job. The only time I thought I was losing him was like 8:20 Saturday morning when he called me. He goes, "Should you be working?" I'm like, "What?"
Here we go. And then you're gonna be great.
I know you're tired. Can you sleep? I had 4 or 5 hours last night. Oh, get up yet? I'll call Dirk and I'll tell him it's not looking good. But let's not say it's not good. Try to regroup and we'll talk this afternoon. And by the afternoon, I think Dean said, Bill was like, "Forget that Atlanta. What are you doing? When you break it open?" I'm like, "No, it's good." I said, "Hey,
I spoke to him a couple of times. There's this software you should need to put on your phone that's free. It's called WhatsApp. It's free texting.
I was telling you about that yesterday. From you while you're away.
Free over Wi-Fi. If you're connected to Wi-Fi, it's free texting and free phone.
Nice.
So she's on Wi-Fi and I'm on Wi-Fi. It's free.
And you'll use your regular number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you just open it up and see contacts. It goes through all your contacts and says, Sheila has it, Tara has it.
And then you can talk to those people internationally.
Or anywhere.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm on the phone with I'm standing in Costa Rica. I was going, Mike, it's snowing so hard. I see these guys. I don't know when we're going to speak. Because we pushed 3 times. And usually we push, take a 2-3 hour break. Push, 2-3 hours. Because we've pushed 3 times without a break. And it's just getting worse. Bill, just if we got to pull back, just don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
That's what it is. You can only work so much. Can only do so much.
Yeah. And then he said, we're doing great. Only one thing broke. Plow blade. And I wish you were here, Mike. You got that. God, if I can reach these people's having nothing going. Let's get through the whole conversation. All right.
I'm glad it was convened back.
I know, right?
You're about to one thing.
First reading for an ordinance, I don't have to do anything.
Right.
I just, the second reading, I just have to say about posting. We introduced, that's the one part where I got always checked out.
Yeah, we've only got first reading, right?
Yeah.
Costa Rica. See if they get their money. A couple of years later, flood down there.
But, what's that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Kind of like what's up, but what's that?
What's that?
And then if you go through contacts, it picks up anybody who's on your phone using it. And then you just text them like that, or you hit email. You didn't tell me, I didn't tell you this stuff. I can tell you now.
But gotta think about it. So I get this email from New York Road.
Yeah, you're using Wi-Fi.
Nice.
And I'm like,
Okay.
I didn't do anything. I come back today. I'm like,
This looks like that.
Yeah.
In Apple.
and
that's what we
it's
do.
a link to their website, and they want me to give them my username.
But then you have the radio
I set up one of the which I do. Congratulations. And it was my time from Brooklyn Ave. How about that? I've done the, you know what? I know. But anyway, I signed up. Yeah.
So it's
But
here.
my thinking goes like, I can always
Because my friends are
not
telling
run it. But I can't really begin to go with
So I have to apologize for the comment. I think it was a valid point.
Yeah, it was.
It's so old school of you to,
I actually called out more attention to it.
Running marathon, the interest for the, you could see the videos of that.
Oh, okay, you printed that out for me, because I was gonna read it right here. Yes.
I'm excited.
Very good.
We needed the briefing on your,
Yeah, he's in Atlanta.
I know, but he was trying to, he knew on Thursday, he was going to have a conference, and he was, I think, anticipating.
Well, he did read the book, and then it got whacked. Yeah. Buffalo is a
Ready, yeah, John, I think we're starting. They want us out of here before something. Yes. Okay, would everybody join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, this is a statement of the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of the regular meetings on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by providing a copy of the annual notice of the regular meetings for the year 2016 to the Glen Ridge paper, the Glen Ridge Voice, the Montclair Times, and to the Star Ledger on Tuesday, January 5th, 2016, and by filing said notice in the office of the municipal clerk. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilpersons Hughes,
Here.
Lisovich,
Here.
Lefkowitz,
Here.
Dawson,
Here.
Murphy, Morrow.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. I'd like to approve the minutes of the first of the January 4th, 2016 annual meeting. Do I hear?
So
Want
moved.
to do them both together? You want to do? Sure. All right, then we'll also do approval of the minutes of January 11th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
I do have one comment on the minutes of the annual meeting, which is that the members of the Glen Ridge TV committee should be updated.
Okay. On the appointments list?
Yes.
That is okay, on page 4.
Yeah. So Mark Davis and Eric Goldman are out, and Dylan Boucherle, Boucherle, is in, as is Frederick Gearhart.
Okay. So, Mayor, you have a motion and a second to approve the January 4th and January 11th, 2016 meetings with the corrections as noted. Should I call the roll?
Please.
Councilpersons Hughes,
I'm going to abstain, Mike.
Lisovich,
Aye.
Lefkowitz,
Aye.
Dawson,
Aye.
Murphy,
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you.
Are there any written communications?
We have no communications at this time from the public. Thank you.
Okay. And I gather we'll have no comments from the public this evening either. So I'd just like to make a fast comment on the storm we just had. We certainly had a storm that was underestimated. We're talking 6 to 12 inches. I think that it was more like 24 to 36, especially where it drifted. And I would like to commend especially the Department of Public Works for the tremendous job they did starting on Friday night and moving to Sunday night to open up our roads. The roads were totally impassable on Saturday night. commend and thank the police department for all the work that they did, especially for working with the Department of Public Works to get the schools ready to open this morning. I won't say anything more because I know that Councilman Lisovich and Councilman Dawson will give a more complete report on what their various departments did. But again, thank you very much for everything that you did. Mayor Hughes? I'm sorry. I'm so used to that. Maybe you better come up here.
No, that's okay. Mayor, I have resolution number 3516, be it resolved that the following claims be approved and warrants be drawn for the same. The highlight, I think, is the current fund is $3.6 million. The payroll was $276,577.98. Be it resolved, Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer of the Borough of Glen Ridge is hereby authorized to issue the payroll for the employees of the Borough of Glen Ridge on the pay date of January 25, 2016. I move the resolution.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any comments?
I just have a clarifying question. I found it difficult to follow what the components of the 3.68 million current fund are.
Probably without looking, I would probably think it's either the county or it's the school taxes. But it should be in the back. Hold on a second.
There's a bill list on the current
It
side.
should be towards the back.
I'm not sure we got all the backup on this one.
Yeah, I was wondering
No,
if
we
maybe
don't.
a page was missing.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is a page missing, but
we'll get that to you, David.
Okay.
usually the school is about 2.6 million.
Yes, yes.
So my guess was 2.6 million plus something else in there. Please call the roll.
Okay, that was a motion by Councilperson Hughes, seconded by Lisovich. Councilperson Hughes,
Aye.
Lisovich.
Aye.
Lefkovich,
Aye.
Dawson,
Aye.
Murphy,
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Paul?
Yeah, sure. Mr. Mayor, I too would like to commend the police department and actually also all of the members of our emergency management team, including our administration and the people from Public Works. Police department worked quite hard over the weekend during this major storm, and the roads were so bad on Saturday. I know at one point the police officers needed to follow the plows we had to do their rounds, but our residents all stayed off the roads as directed, and the weekend went through with absolutely no issues whatsoever. So very happy about that, and we worked also the police department to help get the schools open today. And I know we saw a letter from Dirk today, and very appreciative of the collective work of our community. So we have a lot to be proud of.
There was one accident reported, but it was before it started snowing. Is that right?
That's not an accident that you
Not my
had on your
turn.
way to the Public Works yard, is it, Art, or anything like that?
It's on his way out.
Okay. So, Mr. Mayor, I also have a couple of items, actually a resolution and a ordinance that really are simply meant to put into place the insurance requirements we have for our towing contractors. So, I have resolution number 3616, which actually will put into place currently these requirements. Be it resolved that the Mayor and Borough Council of Glen Ridge do amend the insurance requirements for the towing for 2016 as follows. A garage keeper's liability policy covering fire, theft, and explosion in the minimum amount of $25,000 and collision coverage subject to the maximum deductible of $500 with each accident deemed a separate claim. And each policy herein requires it must contain an endorsement providing for 30 days notice to the borough in the event of a material change. Mr. Mayor, I move the resolution.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Comments? I guess John, correct me if I'm wrong, but what these two items do is, in the first item, we have been at $100, so we're raising it to $500. And prior to that, we were looking for 60 days, we're now getting 30, is that correct?
I think it was even, yes,
Right.
correct.
60.
And what we did with this, deductible of $100 was really a very, very low deductible. It's really not a common commercial practice. And my understanding is that we need to consult with the risk manager just to make sure that these new provisions really are more in keeping with what's expected in policies of this sort. So this really brings these up more in alignment and conformity with standard practice.
Good. Any further comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilpersons Hughes,
Aye.
Lisovich,
Aye.
Lefkovich,
Aye.
Dawson,
Aye.
Murphy,
Aye.
Morrow,
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I also have ordinance number 1637, which in effect creates permanently the same requirement. I have it for first reading.
Need a second on that?
Yeah, I need a second.
I'll second that, Mike.
Is there any discussion among members of the council?
No, and as I said, it in effect recreates what the resolution we just passed.
Okay. Then I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Okay, Councilpersons Hughes,
Aye.
Lefkovich, Lisovich, sorry,
Aye.
Lefkovich,
Aye.
Dawson,
Aye.
Murphy,
Aye.
Morrow,
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
I refer ordinance number 1637 to the municipal clerk for the purpose of statutory publication and posting.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Paul. David?
Mr. Mayor, I have no formal report this evening, but I would like to report that unfortunately the Glen Ridge TV has had some trouble with the video feed in the Comcast. So Verizon Fios customers are getting a clear picture, but the video portion of the feed on Comcast has been going in and out. The last I checked, it was out. I don't have an update yet. Mike, do you know of any update?
Currently not. I've requested we create the signal then goes out to Fios and Comcast. Same cable. When we swap the cables, the same signal goes out to Fios, and we're still not uploading to Comcast, so it's something on their end of their gear. We've submitted an email to their government liaison, and we're hoping to either get a text here that the equipment we send our signal out on has to be at least 20 years old, so perhaps it might be time to change that out.
All right. So that's my only report, that we have this technical issue that needs to be solved.
Thank you. Art?
I have a brief report about the activities of the DPW staff in the storm. The DPW staff reported to work on Friday at 11 p.m. and worked through through to Sunday at 5:30. We used 100 tons of salt. We have 125 tons on order, and it should be delivered later this week. We have 80 tons on hand right now, so we could handle another storm in the near future if we had to. New Truck 6 and the new Toro tractor exceeded our expectations. Our crews will continue with the cleanup efforts tomorrow. What they did Sunday night into Monday was concentrate on the crossing guard stations so that we could get the schools open. The garbage collection and the jitneys are running as scheduled. Recycling pickup will occur tomorrow as scheduled. We had no injuries to any of the employees during the work that they were doing, and we did have a couple of things let go on us in the equipment, a couple of broken hoses, hydraulic hoses, and both the older Toro machines have some difficulties. So their parts have been ordered, and they'll be repaired hopefully within a few days. So again, everybody really did a yeoman job. We worked carefully. We didn't damage. Nobody got their car put up on the lawn. So we're doing okay, and we've got a good group, and I think it does speak well to the management people that even though neither one of them were here, the thing went along all right. Of course, you could figure maybe we didn't need them either. But
Did you use that liquid salt solution?
We didn't use any this time, because there was salt around from the previous little storm that we had on the road, so they decided that it wasn't worth trying to do that this time. So we still have a full brine tank.
Did you notice any difference between this time when you hadn't used the brine and the previous times when you used the brine as far as sticking to the roads?
I don't think we had much trouble. They got out there right on, right when the storm started. When you get some snow down and then start salting on top of that and then plowing it, you don't have the buildup that you do if you don't get on it right away. So if you stay ahead of it, which we did, I mean, it's not like some of the streets in New York where they haven't even touched them yet. So, but, staying on top of it with, the right equipment and being careful about how they're plowing, they really took care of things pretty well. So we're in good shape. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Art. Ben?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Parks and Rec, we'll be meeting tomorrow with the playground manufacturer for trying to purchase and looking to upgrade the playground equipment to include swings at Carteret Park. My thought is to keep, there are two sections of playground equipment. One is worn and needs to be replaced, and we can pull off a part or two from that to make the second grouping of playground equipment at Carteret Park as new. And with the additional space created by the removal of that first piece of equipment, maybe we can save ourselves some money by acquiring a new, not a whole new set, but a new section, and then adding the swings, which a lot of the residents have expressed keen interest in having swings at Carteret. So we'll be meeting with him tomorrow, if Mr. Rawhall is back, that is, and see what he has to say and see if we can't save some money.
Just a quickie question. Do the manufacturers of this equipment produce a modular sets of swings and slides and things like that for playgrounds and things like that?
They produce so much stuff. It's pretty much pick and match, and it's modular. It's whatever you want it to be and whatever color you want it to be in. And they have stuff that I know that the county purchased, and Lord knows, I mean, if we had that, we'd have some serious injuries on our hands because it just looks dangerous. But kids seem to like it, and it seems to me that when they fall, they bounce right back up. It's remarkable. And to Public Works, earlier today, Mr. Zucchelli posted an email about the work that the Public Works had done and the future plans to continue to clean up. And I clicked and pasted that on Facebook page, and we got over 120 positive responses from the folks in town, all saying thumbs up. What a wonderful job Public Works did, and they sincerely appreciate the efforts that were made, and especially when you compare it to some of the other towns in our neck of the woods.
Great.
That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Dan. Good report. Anne Marie?
Yes, I just have briefly the joint public meeting on Mountainside that was initially scheduled for tonight was postponed to Monday, February 29th. That will be, again, the joint public hearing of Montclair and Glen Ridge Planning Board. It's the second review and an opportunity for public comment. And that is to be held on Monday, February 29th at the Montclair Fire Department at 7:30 p.m. My understanding is they postponed the meeting so that the H2M, the consultant, and the hospital could have additional time to address the comments that were raised in each of the individual public hearings.
What time is that on the 29th?
7:30 p.m., Monday, February 29th, at the Montclair Fire Department, which was the original location.
I know that
And that's all I have.
To your report, I know that they did meet with the Historic Preservation Commission, going over the intended elevations of the new project, and asking for input from HPC in which they got an earful. I mean, the HPC felt that did needed to be addressed in a more architectural, compatible, not necessarily more expensive, but something a little bit more comparable to the streetscape. Even going so far as suggesting that perhaps gutting the existing building and retrofitting it might actually save them some money. But that remains to be seen in subsequent meetings with the hospital.
How did they take the comments?
They came, and if they weren't, if they're not beholden to the Historic Preservation Commission, because as you know,
Right.
it's not in the district, so they came and took notes and seemed to be very responsive. We'll see where it goes, but I was told by Chair Harrigal that the meeting was a positive one.
Good. Comments of the administrator department heads? Anything?
Just again, I'd like to thank everybody on the work that they've done, and I'd like to thank the council again for Public Works with providing us the gear that we've requested. This is our first test of our new large truck, the International. As you may recall, our large trucks when we have heavy storms like this are from 1994. So it was very enjoyable for the guys to actually be in a truck with power steering, with a plow that moves up and down and turns side to side, and the heat works, and so that was, and just the maneuverability, even though the truck has a larger footprint, is much better. And secondly, the hero of the storm was the new Toro tractor that we purchased just recently. This is it's a dual-purpose tractor. In the winter, it has rubber tank treads on it, and you can either mount a small plow on it or a snow thrower. In summer, you change out the device, and then it becomes a lawnmower. So we're in winter mode, and there was again the fights to who gets to drive this. Apparently, it was just unstoppable. Clearing, as you know, we cleared the crossing guard stations, and it was just a huge asset to have on hand. So our other two that we have on hand are 2000, 2003 that we'll be looking to swap out in the near future, coming to the mayor and council with the request for changing out some additional gear as well. But again, we thank you very much. It really made the efforts go very well. Thank you.
Well, it's nice to know the money was well spent.
Yes.
Yeah, well, in the maintenance, I mean, they keep up on stuff pretty well. We get a lot of miles out of our because regular maintenance on it.
One other item I'd just like to bring up. The police department was utilizing the Nixle system, sending out emails. We were just marrying that with our Facebook page and Twitter and our email blast system and our town website, and I think just collectively that really spread the word rapidly of what was going on. And on Saturday, at the peak of that storm, the only folks out on the road was Public Works, Public Safety, and contractors. So that goes a huge way in the cleanup effort when there's nobody else on the road. That really makes things move much more smoothly.
Well, I think as the chief said, if we're going to have that kind of storm, it's good to have it on a Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's another luck out there, that one.
Thank you.
Thank you. John, you good?
I have no report.
Chief?
Mr. Mayor, just to again thank DPW. Sergeant Nardellis was working the day shift 6 to 6 for the bulk of the storm. And at the height of it, he did report to me that emergency calls actually, they needed the plow to be in front of them and following up behind them just to get the cars to the scene. So the fact that it was on a weekend and it was quite a substantial storm, I concur. Everybody reports that the relationship that we have with DPW is now more like we're one big department, and with our new radio system, there's a lot of conversation back and forth and really good communication and working relationships. Just on another note, last Wednesday evening at the train station, so that would have been January 20th, we did have a strong-arm robbery of one of our commuters and a resident of the borough. She was uninjured, and strong-arm indicates that there was no weapon used, but that there was physical force used. It was a theft of her iPhone while she was retrieving her bicycle from the bicycle rack to go home. So we're keeping an extra watch. We've been in touch with New Jersey Transit. There's no indication that the subjects, 3 juveniles who were all remanded to the youth facility in Essex County, were on the train platform. It seems as though it was one of those crimes of convenience where it was the young perpetrators being in one spot and seeing what they thought would be a chance to commit a robbery. So we're definitely making sure that with these later evening train stops that the officers are having a lot more visibility, and for the most part, they really are there at the train station quite often, being in the center of town, so.
Well, it's worse today because when they get off, they're not coming up the stairs, they're going through the Glen, and that's pretty secluded in there,
Yeah.
so.
It was an excellent response in catching the perpetrators.
Yeah, it was a good job.
Absolutely.
The victim herself, a gentleman across the street, heard her yelling, also called, and I do agree. We reached out to New Jersey Transit. They thought maybe by the end of this week they'd be done, because that is the case. A lot of people coming off the train now have to come out to Bloomfield Avenue and then come back around over to the train station. So we're going to follow up with them again tomorrow, but they thought by the end of last week they actually had it written on paper that they would be done with the work and be able to open it back up. I didn't get a chance to look at it today.
I would think this storm's gonna back up
Yeah.
the schedule.
What's today, Monday? Friday, they were still cutting the original structure down.
Okay.
And believe me, I don't know why that didn't collapse. Once they got the steps out of there, you were looking at Swiss cheese.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they had holes
Yeah.
in those beams like this.
I don't know how.
It was just a
But
horrible thing.
didn't the incident take place in front of the train station, Chief?
It did. The victim was all the way over to her bicycle.
Yeah.
What we're thinking, though, could have been possible is that the subjects that committed the robbery were east on Bloomfield Avenue, and now that the victim wasn't able to come right off the train station and go to her bicycle, there was more visibility out onto Bloomfield Avenue, and that may be where she was spotted. So I think there was a couple of things that contributed to it. The good news is nobody was injured. The subjects were all 3 taken into custody, and we're going to keep, definitely even more so a watch on the train station, along with New Jersey Transit.
That'd be good, especially now, till they get that stairwell back up.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. I don't know, I guess was it Sunday afternoon with that gas thing? What was that, and is it resolved? It was right by the Ridgewood Avenue School, there's vent pipes, and one of them really was whistling a lot of gas out.
Yeah, it's not, we don't have the answer yet, but we're expected to know by tomorrow, but it was a gas leak. Not something that was going to cause any problems after everybody cleared from the Montclair Fire Department, but by tomorrow we should have at least a cause of what it was.
Yeah, the thing was, I mean, it blew all the sludge out of the line too, so there was stuff coming out of the vent.
Do we have any new or unfinished business?
No, Mayor.
Then I'll open it up for the second comments of the public, if somebody wants to be heard.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Scott. I live at 9 Roswell Terrace. I think that's how I've introduced myself for the last 2 years now. Roswell Terrace is the street directly behind the nursing school site. And this is not a contentious comment. It's just something that I would really like for the council to be aware of, because as we begin to move forward with the Mountainside project, you guys are going to be one of the boards that we talk to in an effort to try to help us with our negotiations with the hospital, to stay clear with our communications with the hospital, so the project can move forward for the benefit of the hospital as well as the neighborhood. At the HPC meeting, I was there, as was a group of my neighbors, and we had Roswell Terrace has put together a coalition which Mountainside has named the Roswell Terrace Group. And we hired an attorney to represent us with the hospital because we felt that they would hear us better, and indeed they have. And so we came to the HPC meeting because someone tipped us that we should be there because Mountainside was going to be making a presentation about the new MOB. At the presentation, prior to that, Mountainside had called my residence group attorney and had asked us to meet with them privately to see the design, to talk about negotiation points that we were interested in, and we agreed to do that on November 18th. Then and we saw the design, and we're actually quite pleased with the way things looked and with the hospital's response to our concerns. And then Mountainside showed it to the Montclair public at the end of November, on November 30th, and it was the same design, and I don't know what those comments are because I don't live in Montclair. And I get to come to a lot of these meetings. And then December 15th, they showed it to the Glen Ridge residents group, and I knew it was going to be the same plan, and I knew what the plan looked like. And my husband happened to fall down the stairs and split his head open, and we were in the Mountainside emergency room. So, and he's fine. 4 stitches and 4 staples later, they glued him back together. So, and that was the same plan as well. Then we come to the HPC meeting, this is my point, and we get here and we settle in and we expect to see the same plan, and the hospital pulled a complete bait and switch. It was a brand new design. Nothing of the old design was particularly left. The building had been rotated 90 degrees, and the front was no longer even facing Bay Avenue. They had put a complete drive-through around the building, so they'd now be driving up and down Roswell Terrace in their parking lot. They'd moved the garbage to Roswell Terrace side. They had put a generator on the Roswell Terrace side, in addition to the one on the roof, and they had put an extra exit on the Bay Avenue after agreeing that there would be one egress, and were indicating that they would be using it for additional parking when they had already agreed to use it for only parking for the MOB. These are just a few things that the new design represented. Needless to say, my residence group was not happy with that, and I want this group to know that the hospital did that. Our attorney called their attorney after he had called the next morning because we were pretty vocal about not liking the design, and we have been assured that they have gone back to the original plan and that that's the plan they're working with. But that did not seem very above board to us, and I would just like for you to know that that did indeed happen. Mr. Fromhold had his assistant email me and ask if he could speak with me on the telephone, and I declined that offer and asked him to speak with my attorney, since my attorney knows exactly how I feel about the Mountainside situation, and I felt that that was better, because I am Southern and I am short-tempered, and that's not a good thing sometimes. So that's kind of where Roswell Terrace stands, and it's good for you to know because we are a vocal group, and we have talked to our neighbors, and we are definitely on top of what Mountainside is doing. Thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate it.
Question.
Yes.
For you, did you make the HPC aware that this is...
Yes, we did.
And what was their response?
They weren't too happy with that either. The HPC, I will say, was terrific. And I did not anticipate that. I'm not a big proponent of landmarking things because I would live in the most modern, the most glass-encased house I could possibly afford if I didn't live in Ridge. But I truly admired the way the HPC handled themselves. It was the first meeting of the HPC I had ever been to, and they were very on top of that. But I have to admit they were kind of, and I didn't blame them, but they were kind of stunned, as were the residents, when we said, okay, now where's the plan you showed everybody? So, but they came up with some great ideas. And Mountainside, I have to tell you, is going to regret having done that, because they came up with an idea of making the roof pitched instead of flat, and pitched will make it look like a giant house instead of an office building. So now we'll be working with Mountainside to try to make them see the fabulous point the HPC made about the roof. So, but I do give them a lot of credit, Mr. Murphy, I really do. They did an excellent job and were very on their game for that. And I also want to say, my business takes me around boroughs and townships all through New Jersey. I'm a field producer. Don't ever agree to do that for anyone, trust me. You do not want to be standing out in weather like this watching some actress miss her cue. But I was out today doing that, and Glen Ridge was better cleared than any of these 6 boroughs I was in. So that's a kudo to Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Collins, one quick question for you. So, as you understand it now, the last model they showed you, the last plan, it's rotated back to face the front-facing Bay Avenue, correct?
I do understand that, Mr. Lisovich, and I know you guys, but it's polite and proper to call you by your last names and give you proper respect. I do understand that that is their plan, but this is just an antidote that will help you. My father was in naval intelligence, and when he came out of naval intelligence, he was adjunct to the CIA. His number 1 rule in life was never trust anyone, be suspicious of everyone you know, and keep your enemies close. So Mountainside has now fallen into that group with me, because that bait and switch, I haven't seen anything quite like that in a long time.
Thank you.
Dan, do you have something for us?
No, I wasn't aware that there was,
I'm sorry, say again?
no, I wasn't aware that they had represented something other than what they presented to both boards in Montclair and in Glen Ridge in December.
Ms. Moore, we haven't met each other, but it's very nice to meet you. I appreciate that opportunity. I cannot stress this enough, and I don't mean to be offensive by saying this, I truly don't, because my group is actually, believe it or not, as we have spoken to Mr. Burton and Mr. Lesovich about, and Mr. Hughes when he was mayor, we're actually in favor of the new MOD. So that does not bother, that they're going to build something new. We fully acknowledge that they own the land and that they can do it with it what they want to do with it, within the context of trying to fit in the neighborhood as a community hospital, which is how they present themselves. But I have found Mountainside, they spoke particularly to me on the 18th, because Mountainside and I have been engaged in what I now consider 4 major wars. And this is now the 4th one, and after 25 years, I am really tired of this. But I can never let it go, because Mountainside cannot be trusted. They absolutely cannot be trusted. They showed this plan to us in private, told me how thrilled they were that we were so excited about it. They showed the plan to Montclair's public, to the Glen Ridge public, then came to the HBC and showed an entirely different plan. And Mr. Fromhold said the reason he wasn't at the meeting is he didn't know the public was invited. So that tells you volumes about what he thought was going to happen. And I know he said that because he emailed it to me.
Dan, do you have a motion for us?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure you're...
I didn't see my name on the
Your
list,
conversation.
Mr. Mayor. Apologies.
Not a problem, no problem.
But I do move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.